Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gaming with me, Tony Mo. Let me start by saying happy Friday to you. We are here today to launch yet another community challenge, a very special one at that. You won't be submitting any clips for this. In fact, next week we're going to go ahead and launch yet another community challenge, since I won't have to look through clips for this one. This week, though, I wanted to do something special. I wanted to really get you guys to experiment with yourself a little bit, work on your own personal situational awareness, and see where you sit when it comes to utilizing the mini-map. So you're actually going to be killing your mini-map today. That's right, this weekend, cover up your mini-map. I just took a dish towel, put it on the corner of the screen, covered it up, and then go in and play some matches of attrition. You can experiment with other game modes if you want, but I think attrition is a great place to test this. You've got a good variety of pilot versus Titan combat, and also just the general spawns that you're going to get in attrition are going to be far less consistent, far less predictable, for most people anyways, than they would be in pilots versus pilots. So this is the mode that I went with. Now the whole point of blocking out your mini-map is to see where you sit in terms of mini-map use. Some of us use the mini-map a lot. I think most of the players sitting at the higher skill level are using the mini-map consistently in combination with on-screen awareness. They're listening for audio cues, they're looking for visual cues, you know, whether it be somebody throwing a grenade around a corner, looking for the trails from a pilot's jump kit, or actually, again, actively reading the mini-map. Even if you're not running map hack, you're not running any sort of map boosting device, you're still looking at the mini-map. It reveals enemy locations, right? So you can use that to figure out where to go next or how to push through a certain area. It's a very useful tool. So when you turn it off, some interesting things can happen. It's going to be very dependent on your personal playstyle. Not just your personal playstyle, but your personal skill level. Not even your skill level. Just the way you play the game, I guess, is the best way to put it. It's a hard thing to put it to. I think it's a very psychological thing in a lot of ways. For me, disabling the mini-map does two things. Number one, it does knock off a little bit of my awareness because I do use the mini-map extremely frequently. As somebody who came from the good old days of Halo, you know, just mini-maps you were constantly reading your radar. It's just the way you played 4v4 Slayer in competitive Halo back in the day. So that's a lockdown thing for me. I'm constantly playing the game in that way. At the same time, I also played a lot of Gears of War, which didn't use a mini-map system. Gears of War was just really focused on what you can see on screen, and you know, enemy flanks were a big thing. It was two very different experiences. But if the mini-map is there, I'm usually going to use it to the nth degree. I'm going to be looking at it almost constantly. So while I am knocking out the situational awareness I get from the mini-map, I am, as I found out in this little experiment, boosting my other awareness. It's not that I don't listen for enemy pilots, I don't listen for their sounds, and I don't look for jump jets, but when you're constantly checking the minimap, you are sort of breaking your concentration. I think you're breaking your audio concentration. You know, you're starting to really push into heavy multitasking territory, depending on what you do. So if you're slide hopping, attacking a target, reading the minimap, listening for audio cues, listening for visual cues all at the same time, that can be sort of information overload, especially for new players. And I think a lot of you talk consistently about struggling with situational awareness. You know, you're trying to read the minimap and then you're just getting caught up. This is the type of experiment that might be really beneficial for you guys who don't have a lot of years in multitasking in a first-person shooter, because you're going to remove that component. And you might think, yeah, but Tony, isn't that just going to make me suck? Not necessarily. What it could do for you, again, depending on the player, is boost up those other sensory elements. So it'll make you, you know, hopefully expose you to the audio. You know, you can listen a little bit more to the targets around you. You can try and identify and track targets through sound cues. And then visually, you can be looking for those jump jet trails. You can be looking for, you know, the sort of aura that a cloaked pilot leaves, tracking the entry and exit aura of a phase shift pilot. All of a sudden, you're really focused on everything that's happening on screen, and your movement, your map navigation, and map knowledge is based purely on the actual things you can see and hear directly on the screen, no longer what's going on in the mini-map. I actually had some better matches, believe it or not. I think Titanfall 2 is a game for me where I tend to break focus a little bit more. You know, if I'm playing a game like Destiny 2, Halo, I'm usually pretty good with managing, like, the active radar that game has. So radar is on for everybody. The moment somebody walks near you, you have active radar in Destiny 2. It's a very different beast than Titanfall 2 in that respect. I'm usually pretty good at managing that. Titanfall 2 is a little bit of a faster game, and even with all the time I spent in it, I think, depending on the day, I can be really on point. But if I'm just in a typical public play session, my focus really gets broken when I look at the mini-map. And because I do it so often, out of habit, and also out of necessity sometimes, I think it breaks my focus even more. So, something I want you guys to experiment with. Again, you don't really know what the results are going to be for you personally until you just do it, which is why I'm encouraging people. I think there's a lot of different benefits that you could walk away from by doing this experiment. A lot of positives and negatives that you might expose personally. You might realize just how little you actually use sound cues and visual cues to track your targets, just how reliant you are on the mini-map, or maybe vice versa. Maybe you realize that you've never really used the mini-map, and maybe you can start to add it into your tactical repertoire. Look at the mini-map a little bit and realize, oh, that actually benefits me. I'm already really good with on-screen concentration and on-screen, target identification. If I start really focusing on the mini-map and making use of it, I can pick up a few extra kills. I can, work on my map flow, my decision-making. Where do I go next? Everyone's going to have a different result, and I definitely want you guys to share that result over the weekend. You can feel free to just come and let me know down in the comment section below here, or if you want to hit me up on the Discord, I did update the Discord invite link down in the pinned comment. You guys can go and join us over there. I always post in the announcement page whenever I upload a new video there, so you can go ahead and then talk about it in the Titanfall section of our Discord and see what everybody has to say about it. Definitely, I think, an interesting experiment. I had a lot of fun with it, and hope you'll have a lot of fun with it too. I will see you guys next week for a brand new community challenge where we will be submitting clips. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, remember to play smart, remember to play to challenge yourself, but most importantly, remember to play for fun.